Welcome to Tool Time. My name's Michelle Abreu and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and a craft coach. Tool Time is my monthly series where I'll be featuring one of my favorite tools from Stampin' Up! If this tool makes the cut, it means I love it and it passes my 3V test. Is it valuable? Is it versatile? And does it give me vision for creativity? This is my second video on the Stampin' Cut Emboss Machine. So do you think I love it? Yes. In today's video, I'll be demonstrating the embossing feature of this wonderful machine. Here's the machine. It has 2 non-slip handles, 4 sticky feet on the bottom to secure sliding on your workspace, 2 platforms that fold up for easy storage, and it also comes with 4 plates, but there are specific instructions on which plates to use for the 2 different embossing folders. So the 4 plates are numbered 1 through 4 so you can distinguish which plates to stack to get your desired results. The numbers are in the corner. 1 is the base plate, then 3 are the embossing plates and die cuts, and then 4 is strictly for the 3D embossing folders. I always label mine so it's a little easier to grab. So the instructions are also found on the actual base plate here. And those tell you exactly which plates to use for which folder. Sometimes, though, you may have to play around with the plates to determine what works best, because the thickness of the cardstock or material you're using, is different. So I'd recommend purchasing an extra set of plates strictly for embossing. And I also label them because I love my label maker and it's easy to grab and see when you need them. So let's talk about embossing. What is it? Embossing is when you raise a 3-dimensional image on paper. So think texture. You're not going to believe all the things you can emboss with this tool. I'm going to show you the versatility and the fun you can have when you sit down and play with this machine. I am going to show you today 10 things that you can emboss. Cardstock, plain cardstock, foil, vellum, envelopes, designer series paper, acetate boxes, laser cut paper, and then double embossing. So I'll be using 4 different embossing folders. There are 2 types of embossing folders, standard and 3D. The standard folders are not as thick as the 3D folders. These are really thick. So you can tell the difference, although they are labeled in the annual catalog. Because of the different thicknesses of each of the folders, there are different plates that you'll need to use when embossing. So let's start with the standard embossing folder. I'm going to be using the Meadow Moments. Again, I labeled mine so that I can grab it easily if I need to. And this one is more narrow than most because it also fits into the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I like to use the narrow ones if I'm only embossing a small portion of the card, like half of the card. So we always start with the base plate, plate number 1. That's always going to be there when you're embossing. And then I'm going to take a piece of Calypso Coral and just place it in between the folder. And you want to pay attention to the orientation of the pattern. That might be important for some of your projects. I'm only going to use half or a little more than half and place it here. And then you'll read the instructions. You'll use the regular plate number 3, always hinge side first, and then you'll place the other plate number 3 and then run it through. So now you have this gorgeous embossed texture with butterflies and leaves. It's super, super cute. So now we'll use the same embossing folder and we'll use the foil sheet. So I'm going to place this again kind of sideways here so that it only covers a portion of it. Fold it in there, and you'll want to use the side that has the logo on the top. Make sure that's facing up. So base plate, plate number 3, hinge side in first, plate number 3 again, and run it through. This is the Love You Always foil from the January to June mini catalog. It's really pretty. So, don't you love the foil? So pretty. This is such a great reminder to use the foils with this texture, with this 3D embossing. Now we'll use vellum. Same embossing folder and technique. So we'll place the vellum in here, just like that. Base plate, plate number 3, folder, another plate number 3, and then run it through. I just love how you can see the details with the vellum. Super cute, right? And such great texture here. So thinking outside the box, you can actually emboss with designer series paper. Why not? Pick a pattern that you'll be able to see the texture. So I chose this fun Bermuda Bay colored paper. It's from the Snail Mail designer series paper. It looks to me like Butterfly Trail, so that's why I chose it. There are butterflies in this embossing folder. So again, I'm only going to use a portion of that. Base plate, plate number 3, hinge first, embossing folder, again, plate number 3. Run it through. And there you have it. So a little texture on the designer series paper. Super cute. Just adds a little bit more, you know? Now let's do an envelope. So because I always like to match my envelopes with my cards, I like to sometimes emboss. If I have that embossing folder pattern on my card, I'll emboss the same thing on my flap. So what you do is just line that up. Now it's not going to fit in sideways or you'll squish the paper, so this time you'll have to fold it in or put it in sideways. So base plate, plate number 3, embossing folder, plate number 3 again, and run it through. So now you'll have a matching flap for the envelope. You can also, you know, if you wanted to just run it down the side, that's an idea too, but I just think that's so cute to have that little touch there. Now let's emboss a cotton round. So I thought of this fun idea for guests when they come and visit to provide them with a sweet little welcome gift. So part of that is a few embossed cotton rounds. The same technique again you'll get with the sweet pattern on the little cotton rounds. So I took this one. It does already have a pattern on there, but I'm going to choose the side that's not so thick. And then I'll put my little cotton round in there, fold it over. Same technique, base plate, plate 3, embossing folder, another embossing folder. And then you have this sweet little butterfly pattern on the cotton round. So I'll show you a little later the project that I use this for, but just so cute. All right, now let's use the 3D embossing folder. I'll be using the Parisian Flourish 3D folder. There's a different technique in that you only use the gray specialty plate number 4. So we always, again, start with the base plate here, number 1, and then the 3D embossing folder let me put let's do the acetate, the small acetate boxes. It's 3 1/8 by 3 1/8. It goes directly in there. Fold that down, and then you place it right on top of the base plate. Add your 3D, number 4, your 3D embossing folder, and run it through. And this will be what I put the cotton rounds in for my project. It sounds a little scary, but it's okay. All right. And there you have a little patterned 3D Parisian acetate box. All right. How about laser paper? So this is the Dandy laser cut paper, and what I'm going to do is run it through. I'll use the subtle 3D embossing folder, which is also 3D here, and I thought we'll just add a little bit of texture. So I'm going to put it under there, and base plate, 3D embossing folder, number 4. Now this one doesn't go through, it's awfully thick, so I'm going to try something else, and oftentimes this is what you have to do. It's a little bit thicker than I want. I don't want to force it through, so I'm going to try one of the regular plates. And there we go. Much better. And it just adds just a little extra touch, a little subtle texture to the laser paper. Just thought it was so cute. So now let's talk about double embossing. Yeah, that's right, double embossing. It adds just a little something. So first you choose a pattern, which I like the subtle, again, 3D embossing folder. Choose something that's a little more subtle at first. I'm going to use vanilla, very vanilla for the cardstock. And again, I'll put this right in here. And we'll start with the base plate, the subtle 3D folder. And again, because this one's thick, I'm going to just use the regular plate number 3 and run it through. So it creates this beautiful, almost like linen pattern. And then I'm going to emboss using the Magnolia 3D embossing folder. So this is a really beautiful bloom, magnolia bloom, that I'm going to take this already embossed and double emboss it. So I think I'm going to place it horizontal just because I like the pattern a little more. Fold that there, and then again, because this one's thick, I don't think the number 4 is going to work, but I'll try it first. Oh yeah, it does. But never force it through. You want to make sure it glides easy. And now you have a double embossed image. So pretty, right? Get a little closer. So it's this linen texture, and then you have this beautiful magnolia image. So the options are endless. Around the holidays, there is even felt. So you can use, you can use felt for a gorgeous textured poinsettia flower for your projects. I just love the Stampin' Cut Emboss Machine. It's the perfect tool for texture. So I want to show you some of the projects that I made with these embossing folders. This is, let me move this out of the way here. This is with the standard cardstock. This is the foil vellum. I lied, that's the foil. This is the vellum and the envelope. This is the Designer Series paper with the envelope. This is the acetate box with the cotton rounds in there. I put a chapstick, a hair tie, a file, Q-tips, our Wi-Fi code, and So Happy You're Here. So, you know, that'll go bedside when someone comes to visit. And this is the laser cut paper here. And then the double embossing folder. So there you have it, the Stampin' Cut and Emboss Machine. It has great value, you can see the versatility, and now you most certainly will have vision for your creative projects. Thanks for watching Tool Time. My name's Michelle Abreu, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and craft coach. It's creativity from the heart. Tune in next month on April 20th for the gilded leaf embellishment. It's like gold fairy dust, and it's so much fun. Thanks, friends. See you next time.